Okay, third time's a charm because the first two times were crazy. Hello and welcome back to The Gentleman and the Sword. My name is Jeremy. I do this for my sister and all the young youth coming up because prevention is better than cure when it comes to advice and navigating the world, you know. As much we need, I would like to provide as much information and guidance from what I've learned being an immigrant and without family, living with family for consistently for 8 years. So I think I have a lot of experience in the belt and would like to share what I have to say, especially moving away from family when you're 19 to a different continent. I believe that's a challenge that most people don't do. And one thing that I've noticed is like a lot of people don't tend to leave the city that they're from to go and discover something new. So if you're already doing that, if you stumble across this and you're already on that level, you know, kudos to you for coming this far. You know, much appreciated. You know, you're strong as fuck and you can still keep going. Always remember that you can always take yourself further and believe in yourself just like I do. Now, one thing I'm grateful for this week that I usually start with is being grateful for networking, making friends, new people, because that's what I did during the time that I didn't record the last podcast. I was making new friends, and believe that's so important simply because expanding your network is good because you never know where you're gonna be in the future or where they're gonna be, and you might be able in a position to help someone else, or they might be in a position to help you as well achieve your dreams, or you know, whatever it might be. You know, friendship is not about, for me personally, it's not about helping each other. It's just about having a good time, respecting each other, and creating positive memories and vibes. At least that's what I believe. Now, with that being said, the topic of today is remaining consistent to a goal. So that's been one of the things that has been most difficult for me is to remain consistent to a goal, simply because this week, you know, with the restrictions opening up and everything, I thought it was a good opportunity for me to use this time to go out and network and meet new people. And so the sacrifice I made was 1 week of zero workouts in the gym. But in Leo, what I was doing was I was doing on my yoga mat, which is like right next to me, every day. So like at least, even if it's for 10, 15 minutes, I'd do some stretches. I'd do some sit-ups and push-ups in between my intermissions when I'm playing COD. You know, anybody who knows that we're playing COD, if you're playing public matches or multiplayer matches, there's a little break between the loading screens, and that time is good for working out at least, or getting in like a small set. So like a small set of push-ups or sit-ups. And you know, if you're playing like 5-6 games in a row, like 10 games in a row, you know, you just done 50 push-ups right there. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, 50 push-ups right there, or 50 squats or 50 sit-ups. So definitely, you know, I did still challenge my body to working out, but I just didn't work. I just didn't go to the gym. Now, what I discovered by remaining consistent to a goal and giving time to my goals is that my mental was more focused on that one thing. So my one thing is this podcast, right? And so even though that I missed a couple of weeks, I think the most affirming thing for me as an example is this episode where I still have to put it out, right? And so I love it. You know, I'm starting to enjoy having time for recording this podcast because I feel like this is fun. And so always taking action to it. You know, you have a goal, set goal. You know, at the beginning of this podcast, I said, I'm going to try and do this until, you know, I'm not existing in this earth plane anymore. And so I have to remain consistent to that challenge because I made a promise to myself about that, right? So I'm going to keep it going. And so another thing is like your actions, right? Like, what are you taking? Like, what do I need to do in order to remain consistent to a goal? So like one of my big goals, it's so dumb, but it's like to create recycling plants in Nairobi, or like just have an overall better like recycling / garbage collecting system, because the only reason I would aspire to do something like that is simply because of travel, right? So being afforded the opportunity to travel to a different continent and discover that the technological changes and differences between, for example, Kenya and Canada is absolutely, different. It doesn't mean like Kenya is super behind. It means that, that's something that I feel like would benefit the whole country, as opposed to, and another way that I'm thinking about it is like, as opposed to, here having, Canada having 4 seasons. In Kenya we only have 2, right? Because it's the wet and dry season, and the wet season's during the summer, and the dry season's during the winter. So our summer is during the winter, and so that, for me personally, we don't have to think about, all the winter that we have to do, all the winter collecting that, is being done out here, because we have 12 hour sun days, like sun out in the air days. So yeah, and I feel like personally that would be something that will be beneficial for a lot of people. So that's like an example of a major goal that I have. So in between, I'm gonna do my little goals out here. Will be like my podcast, probably my gaming channel on Facebook, and yeah, just to be able to build towards that goal, and also save the money that I'm currently getting once I, as I'm working too, right? And so I'll give you another example of like remaining consistent to a goal, right? And also allocating time. So like definitely discipline and a schedule or a routine definitely helps you remain consistent to a goal. So knowing that I wanted to release an episode every Sunday, I would only focus on that one day and plan accordingly for that one day. But when you have multiple goals in mind, then it technically becomes a balancing act, right? And so the first thing that you have to do is plan around it. So what changes do I need to make personally in order to make this goal achievable? Is it in terms of everything, finances, mental attitude, sacrifices, all that. So definitely important that you consider that. So one thing I've noticed is that a routine has definitely helped me. So working out in the morning, or waking up and working out in the morning, let's say at 5 a.m., even though I know my shift starts at 11 at a different day, helps me remain consistent to my goal, because in between my workout and after having breakfast, if I decide to have breakfast, there's a good 5 hours in between I say 5. I say there's a good 5 hours in between for me to, work towards my goals. So an example would be, I still really love web development. So like after this podcast, the first thing I'm gonna do is probably get on and learn, JavaScript, because that's the level I'm at. I already learned HTML and CSS. I have a brief idea of what I need to be doing, and I have some projects under my belt simply because I invested in a course for it. So now I want to learn JavaScript, and so I can allocate some 1.5, 2 hours to just precisely learning JavaScript, so as to be able to like fully learn the concept of it and possibly do a project. So like that's another thing, right? To become a programmer, that's another goal of mine. And it's like remaining consistent to it is like, completing the course and also creating your own projects as well. So like that's another thing. And now with 5 hours every day, every morning with the routine, I've just freed up 25 hours of my day of my week rather, in order to tackle some of my goals, or help me get closer to my goals as well. So definitely take that into consideration when you're trying to remain consistent to a goal, right? So always remember that you have your goals, you have your things that you want to achieve in mind. Most of the time they float on your mind, which is fine, But one thing that I've learned to do is write them down and have them on my screen, like on my phone, so that whenever I would like to, whenever I feel like I'm straying away from my goal, uh, I always have that reminder every time I click my home button on my phone and see the goals that I've set for myself. So that's also a subconscious thing because it's like feeding it into your mind every time you see it. Everything that you've written down, your mind's just picking it up. So helps me. That's one of the ways that I help myself remain consistent. And so, like, what are some of the ways that you remain consistent to your goal? Like, what are the things that you feel like are important for you to tackle in order to do so? Do you need a routine? Do you just wing it? You know, I know there's some people who wing it, but they stay consistent. Um, what are some of the ways that you feel that are important for you to fully embrace what you're trying to achieve for yourself, right? And also, do you have the capabilities or the discipline in order to not get distracted or carried away by other things, knowing that you have that one piece of your goal, sorry, that you would like to achieve, right? Anyway, I just want to thank you again for your time listening to this. I hope you do like, subscribe, and share to someone who may need to hear this, someone who might be trying to achieve something and they just don't have that little extra nudge. So like, if you could send this out to someone and have it as their little extra nudge, it would be absolutely amazing of you to do so. But with that, I know it's a Monday. I know I did say I'll be posting every Sunday, but the last 2 weeks has been mainly to do with networking and meeting new people. So I will always appreciate the fact that I chose to do that. And so with that being said, I wish you all a pleasant week. I will catch you on Sunday. Be safe and peace.